Hello and welcome to another episode of the Veterans Corner. My name is Chuck Wooden. I'm joined by my co-host Donna Dunyan. Donna, this is the first time you're actually on.
I know.
Yeah, the last tapings you couldn't make it for good reasons.
Yeah, I had a little medical issue.
Yeah, but for those who don't know, Donna's the director of the Veterans Strong Community Center, which is stationed out of Bristol City Hall. This center services Bristol and the surrounding communities. Donna's a longtime friend. We've been friends for a long time.
We won't say how many years.
Yeah, she's been a regular on the show, giving updates on the center, and I'm happy and honored to have her as my new co-host.
Thank you very much.
Welcome, Donna.
Thank you. So everyone, the Veterans Corner, if you're new to our show, is a show dedicated to veterans, their families, and those that serve the veterans community. Our focus is to bring you information and resources, as well as programs and services within the community.
Okay, once again, I mean, the shows that we have, they go fast, like 25 minutes. Actually, well, the show is 25 minutes, but we have maybe 15 to 20 minutes to talk. So I'm going to be quiet right now. I'm going to introduce you, and we're going to get into this. With us today, we have a special guest from Irreverent Warriors, tongue twister, Eric Schessl.
Yes.
I said it right. Eric, welcome to the show. It's great to have you. Eric is the local hike coordinator in Norwich, Connecticut, and we're gonna let the viewers know what you do for the veterans. It's the first time on a Veterans Corner.
Yes.
So it's a
pleasure to be here.
And I'm sure it won't be the last.
Hopefully not.
We're going to be around for a while. We try to get everybody on and with updates and all that. So with that being said, let's jump into this.
So Eric, I know a little bit about you, but can you tell everyone else a little bit about yourself and your military background?
Sure. So I joined the Air Force right out of high school in 1999. I was born and raised Buffalo, New York. Go Bills. It was Air Force from 99 to 2006, served security forces, so kind of military police. Did that until 2006, and when I got out, I decided I wasn't done serving, so I jumped into civilian stuff, and I was working Department of Defense and was all over the Middle East for a few more years before I finally realized that after a quarter of my life, I really didn't have a whole lot going for me other than being a contractor and doing all that. So I came back and focused on education and stuff like that, to where I eventually came up here to Connecticut. So I've been here for 8 years or so now.
Well, I got to tell you, obviously veteran-based show, and we always want to say on behalf of the crew, the viewers, the Veterans Corner, everyone, we want to thank you for your service.
And thank you for your support.
Yeah. Thank you. Okay, Donna.
Chuck.
That's right. You can see we're on ball, right on track tonight. As always, we're here to talk about Irreverent Warriors. What is the mission, and how do you support veterans?
So the mission of Irreverent Warriors is to bring veterans together using humor and camaraderie to improve mental health and prevent veteran suicide. The way we do that is through uniting the veteran community through creative events, engagement, and stuff like that, to basically just pull veterans out of those dark corners where they're at, to make sure that they're able to get out, socialize, and we just want to keep them from becoming another statistic. Yeah. And it's just really important to make sure that they understand that they're not alone. They have support systems out there in their brothers and sisters that they serve with, whether or not they actually know them or not. We're all family, we're all community.
Yeah. That's a major issue right now. Actually, it's been a major issue.
Yeah.
With the suicides, the 22. Actually, it's a lot more than 22 a day.
Right. It absolutely is.
There's a lot of, as we may find out on the next show. I know I've learned that there's certain statistics that aren't used to come up with that number.
Yeah.
And I'm sure it's the same way now as it was a couple of years ago. So that number, I mean, it's a nice number. We're used to hearing it, but 22 a day is nowhere near how many veterans commit suicide a day.
No.
And what makes Irreverent Warriors so unique, and what drew you to them?
So they're unique in the way that they literally, from the top down, they care about the veterans. we care about the veterans. The veterans is the focal point of the mission. Yes, I'm a local coordinator and stuff like that, and I help organize events, but it's not for me. It's not for the leadership team or anything like that. It's for the veterans. Yeah. Everything they do is for the veterans and for that community. That's kind of what drew me to them. I ran solo for the hike back in 2019. Was my first introduction. I didn't know anybody. Doug had convinced me to go out, and I came out to the hike, and then I hung out and had a good time, and I was hooked. I wanted to be more involved, wanted to give back, and just have that connection with my brothers and sisters. And I've never looked back. I've been, like I said, since 2019, and I'm looking forward to the hike in 2022 and beyond.
Yeah, and that's great. I mean, it does get addictive once you start, getting involved and participating.
Yeah.
I know one of the first things that I saw about Irreverent Warriors was the Silkies Hike. So it's a very unique thing. What can you tell us about this event and how it partners with the mission of Irreverent Warriors?
Sure. So picture this. You're in a meeting location, and there's probably it could be anywhere from a couple hundred to several hundred guys, girls in the shortest shorts you could possibly see. Skies out, thighs out, the whole 9 yards is what's going on out there, and other costumes and battle gear and all that, flags, and getting together, having a good time, and taking over a city, and doing stops and just basically bringing themselves together. We talk about that humor and then camaraderie is what the entire day is all about. That's what the Silkies Hike is. And the reason why that's so important to the mission is because knowing that, as some of us out here are veterans and stuff, the dark humor and stuff like that kind of keeps us sane,
together,
right? Yeah. And so the coming out to the hikes and other social events and stuff for the mission, using that dark humor, using that camaraderie is something that is very, very important to the organization and to the mission, to make sure that we keep on top of each other.
That dark humor, anybody that has not served, they have a hard time understanding or accepting that. But when you get a bunch of veterans together, or anybody in first responders, I retired from the Department of Corrections. There's dark humor.
Oh yeah.
And only we can understand it. But it does increase that camaraderie.
It really does. That dark humor is definitely a focal point. And yeah, like you said, civilians typically don't get it. And we got to dance around eggshells when we get together because if there's civilians around, it can get kind of dicey. We get a lot of eyebrows get raised and stuff.
What did they just say?
Yeah, right. It can get dicey.
And it has. I can tell you that. Can anyone attend the Silkies Hike?
So the Silkies Hikes themselves are strictly for veterans, military, active, Guard, Reserve, all that stuff. If you were a civilian and you wanted to participate and help out, you could register to volunteer and whatnot, and from tasks to helping out with making sure our stops are taken care of, are clean, basically being hike support elements throughout the entire day.
How can civilians support the organization and help with the hikes? I'm sure they can help, they just can't participate.
Right, yeah, and that goes back to the hike support element. A lot of our hike support, the volunteers that we have throughout the hikes are their spouses, military spouses that want to be involved in support. They are just people who just support the military, and they come out, and so we allow them to be a part of that, because obviously not only are the veterans important, but the people who support us are also equally as important, because we can't continue to strive on unless we can rely on people outside of our brothers and sisters.
Yeah, there's so many, as we've learned with this show, in the community that aren't not veterans, but they might be part of the veteran community, family, or just people that love helping out veterans.
Yeah.
And there's so many out there, and that's one of the reasons why this show started back in 2013. It was to get the word out, and there's so many people out there that want to help.
Yeah.
And it's important that we have their support, because you really can't do it solely on, you're by yourself.
No.
But When and where are the hikes held? Is it statewide? Is it down in a certain section of the state, or?
So the Silkies hikes that we do, and the one we have in Connecticut is down in Norwich. So that's our local hike. September 17th. Usually it's the third Saturday every year in September. So September 17th is the one for this year down in Norwich. There are multiple hikes throughout the entire country. We were actually close to 100 hikes globally now at this point. We have hikes all over the country. We've even reached out we have one out in Anchorage this year in Alaska. We have one in Puerto Rico. We have one in Normandy, France, and we have one in England. So we're growing and expanding every year, and it's just a great thing.
Once again, this show given exposure, lets more people know about you, and hopefully, this is not only just seen in Connecticut.
No.
This goes on YouTube. We just recently had a podcast assigned to us. So this show, it's wide-reaching. So hopefully it could get into areas that don't currently have the hikes.
Yeah, and we'd love to have more hikes, and even if they don't want to set up their own hikes, come out to ours.
Yeah.
And participate that way and hang out and get yourselves out of those dark places. Come out and enjoy the humor and the camaraderie that we offer, and that community and that support.
It's so important, and you've said it a few times, the dark places. There's so many veterans out there that they're afraid to come out.
Yeah.
I shouldn't say afraid. They're hesitant because it's a trust factor.
Yeah.
Unless it's one of their own that's trying to get them out there. In an organization and what you're doing here, it really helps benefit the veteran community and get them out, whereas normally they wouldn't come out.
Yeah, absolutely. You could be sitting home on the couch and not feel like going out, but it takes that nudge, from whether the friends, family, supporters, anything like that, to come out to the hike and make yourself feel better. It's just a great feeling to be out there at the hikes. It really is.
Well,
are there other events besides the hikes that Irreverent Warriors participate in, or?
So each hike, each city, each town that hosts a hike can do things like donation drives. We can do fundraisers. There's sponsors and partnerships and stuff like that. So everybody can kind of do outreach and stuff like that with other veteran organizations or other civilian organizations that want to support the hike elements as well, and the Irreverent Warriors on a local level.
Okay. All right.
How can people get more information? Did you provide a website?
Yes.
Okay.
So anybody that is interested, we have our website. It's irreverentwarriors.com. We're on social media. We have our Facebook pages as well. If they just type in Irreverent Warriors and Facebook, they'll find us there. There's the local chapter is IW-Connecticut. On Facebook. So all that stuff is there. It is available for everybody to kind of come on out, find us on social media, and get connected.
Yeah, that's good. I believe it's on the screen right now, and hopefully the viewers will take advantage of that and look up the information.
Hopefully.
We still have some time. Is there anything else that we haven't touched that you'd like to share with the viewers?
The only thing I can really stress is that if you're listening, you're watching, you decide to go check out the website, do so and take that leap. Come on out to the hike. Come on out to some of the vet-togethers, the get-togethers that we do and we host, and get to know us, get to know the organization, get to know the people, and your battle buddies. You may not know them, but that's your support. That's your family.
It is.
Come on out and then hang out with us and just become part of the family that we put together.
Now, I can't remember if you said it earlier. How long has it been here in Connecticut?
So this September 17th will be the 5th year anniversary for the Norwich hike. So we will be 5 years in. It'll be my 4th year. So it'll be my 4th year participating in the hike, but our 5th year overall.
Now, have you had the opportunity to go to other states and participate in any of those hikes?
Not yet. I'm planning on doing a lot of traveling in the New England area this year. There's one in the Adirondacks in New York. There's one in New York City. There's one in there's one in Milford and another one in Boston, Massachusetts. So there's some hikes in the New England area that I'll be traveling out to this year.
Now, when you say Milford, Connecticut?
No, Milford, Mass.
Milford, Mass. Okay. Yeah. There we go. It wouldn't be in Milford, Connecticut, obviously.
Right. We got the Norwich one.
Sure.
Yeah. Turf war.
Yeah. Well, it would make it interesting.
It would. But even if someone decided they wanted to try to start another one in the state, they absolutely go for it.
Turf war would add to that dark humor.
It would add to the humor and the camaraderie. Absolutely.
They hike to one central point, and then it's a free-for-all.
Well, I don't know. Well, yeah. It would probably end up turning into a weird dance-off at that point. But, whatever.
Do you have a special or a significant memory about one of the hikes that you've been involved with? Something that just stands out and you're like, this is why I do it. This is why I'm part of this organization.
Probably just a couple of years ago, the first year I actually got involved with helping to co-host, to kind of help run the hike, and being able to kind of take a step back and look at what's going on with everybody, and make sure that once we get to the end point, being able to see everybody, how even though everybody's kind of exhausted, maybe a little tipsy, they're very much grateful for everything that happened throughout the day, and being able to sit back and take that all in is absolutely just a memorable fun for me, and that's really what helped keep me hooked, is like wanting to see that and see your family battle brothers and sisters have that feeling of family and togetherness that they get out of finishing one of those hikes.
This might go along the same lines as the question that you asked, Donna. I mean, how successful, there's got to be some success stories, without mentioning names, brothers and sisters that have been brought out of the darkness because of the organization. Right.
And I'm sure there are. I don't know any personal stories of anybody that has come out from the darkness to where the hike has saved them, but I guarantee you that people, even though they've only been out there maybe 1 year, that maybe the people that come out that first year, they were thinking about it. Maybe people that came out 2 or 3 years have had those PTSD and the thoughts and stuff like that, and they continue to come up because they know that this is something that saves them every year. I guarantee you there's always a handful. Like we said, the 222 a day. When you go and you see the hike and you see the people there, none of those people are part of that 22.
No.
So.
And that's a great thing.
Yeah.
It's a great thing. There's, that's been a focus on this show for a while. Matter of fact, our next taping is all about mental health, and we've had a lot of mental health shows on this show, episodes on this show. It's something that we really like to target because it's a service that we want to provide to the viewers in the veteran community.
Yeah,
it's an important one. It's nice to have some of the other shows on that do things for veterans. They're just as equally as important. But when we're sitting there trying to save a life, there's a lot of meaning to that.
There really is. The mental health side of things is something that is oftentimes it's really overlooked, and that's where organizations like this come from. It's noting that there is a severe lack of that mental health care in the community, in the veteran community, and by having these programs and these groups trying to all help each other, you're just batting 1,000, because it's better than absolutely nothing. And Irreverent Warriors themselves, we aim to be the premier organization that helps with preventing veteran suicide. So it's very important to us.
And I read the background on the website about Doug. Can you share with everyone a little bit of his background?
Doug?
The founder.
Oh, you're talking Donnie O'Malley.
Donnie, sorry.
Yeah, absolutely. So, all right. So Donnie O'Malley, he's the overall founder. And I don't have all the dates memorized, but it was years ago. He was at a funeral and saw crying mothers and asking why, why my son, and he really took that to heart. And part of what he had done was he went ahead and got a bunch of his buddies together, and they did this. They hiked out in San Diego, out in California, just as a means to have that togetherness. And he had no intention of it becoming what it is now. But after that hike, after that happened, there was a humongous explosion of people across the country that either wanted to have their own hike in their own city, or they wanted to donate to the cause. And so it grew exponentially from just a couple of hikes, back in the day, to where now we've got almost 100, and we're going to continuously growing. We're adding hikes every year. And so the explosion from this whole thing has just been ridiculous.
That's great. I mean, we've had so many, we've done, I believe it's over 150 episodes here at the Veterans Corner. And we're going to try to do another 150. At least that's the goal. We've had one group on that started off with 4 guys going out and playing golf. They came up with this outrageous name, and I know I'm going to catch it from them because I'm saying outrageous name, the Cabasa Open.
Yes.
It was with Dennis Buden.
Dennis Buden.
He'll be on the show within a month, I believe. We've got him scheduled. And you know what? I still hear the story. It's the same thing. They started out with like 4 guys or so, or a small little, a few foursomes going out in a little tournament. They grew that, kept the name, and it became one of the largest, if not the largest, fundraiser for veterans in this state. So it was that little seed that was planted.
Yep.
Yeah.
And look where they are now. I mean, COVID, took a hit on it. Well, it hit everybody. But I know they're going to be back up and running, and they started from that small little spot, and I'm sure they never thought it would be where it is now.
Yeah, and it's the same thing here.
Yeah. And there's, I mean, that's just your story, their story. There's other ones like that. There's it's important to get the word out. The exposure. I know and that was the mission statement for this show. There were so many organizations out there, groups, foundations, individuals, who, there wasn't a venue to get the word out other than passing out flyers, or maybe Facebook has gotten big.
Yep.
But with something like this, it's far-reaching.
It is.
And that's what we pride ourselves in that. We've actually we were given a podcast recently from Nutmeg TV, and from what I understand, I was told a couple days ago, that's the #1 podcast here at Nutmeg right now. And we're just starting back up.
Yeah.
For the viewers that don't know, we were shut down for 2 years, and I'll be honest, there was really no plans of returning until it was probably right around the holidays.
Yeah. So somebody said something.
Yeah. I was. I'll say it. Jerry Wright.
Yeah. Jerry
Wright's been on the show for a number of times, and he's helped co-host. So I mean, it was great to have you on here.
It was an absolute pleasure.
It was very informative. Plan on coming back again. We want updates. We want to know what's going on. We want to let the viewers know what's going on.
Absolutely.
And that will certainly help you out. With that being said, we want to thank the viewers for watching. We want to thank you once again for being here. Donna, anything? We're just about out of time.
No, we put all the contact information from our guests on the Facebook page. And if you have any shows or organizations that you'd like us to spotlight, please let us know.
Yeah. Facebook page is the Veterans Corner CT. The Veterans Corner CT. Like it. That's all the time we have for tonight. Thanks for watching again. Till the next time. Good night.
The water's warm at Jaws Pond, and we're stocked full of treasures. Big or small, we buy it all. We buy and sell fast rides, power tools, vintage guitars, and so much more. Walk the plank in style with our fine jewelry, diamonds, and watches. Plus, we have a huge selection of the latest video games, including the new PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X. Jaws Pond, conveniently located on Meriden Waterbury Turnpike in Southington and West Main Street in New Britain.